Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. And welcome to another episode of Glass Half Full, a podcast and a safe platform where we talk with a variety of teachers, entrepreneurs, spiritualists, uplifters, givers, shakers, and serenaders. Everyone has a lesson to learn and a lesson to share. Let's use our life experiences to enrich someone's heart, mind, spirit, and soul. Through sharing our experiences, we can be a learning inspiration for one another. I'm your host, Chris Levens. Let's welcome today's guest. Today's guest is Braden Cadenelli. Braden is a triple threat, a pastry chef, baker, and chocolatier who loves leading a team of amazing chefs and helping them grow and succeed in their goals. He is also a little bit obsessed with science fiction, mainly Star Trek, while also being a big baseball, hockey, and soccer fan. He is a true believer in I.D.I.C, infinite diversity in infinite combinations, and accepting people for who they are is the path to creating a better future for everyone. Let's give a warm welcome for Braden Cadenelli. Hello, hello, hello.
Thank you so much for having me. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you this evening?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Got to participate in one of those activities I enjoy and see a hockey game today with my family. So it's been a good day here.
Awesome. Thank you for taking some time out to be a guest here on Glass Half Full. We really appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. I've been checking out the show. I've listened to some of the episodes, and I really enjoy what you're bringing for folks. So thank you for putting it together.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for also checking us out. We appreciate that. Well, we're going to jump right on in. I like to ask all of my guests this first question. I believe our lives are in spiritual design. Can you share your life layout or blueprint with everyone? How you grew up, where, your family lifestyle?
Of course. I did my growing up split almost evenly between two areas on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in central New Jersey, just outside of Asbury Park. So Bruce Springsteen country for everybody out there. That's how people identify it. And as someone, I understand you're also from that central part of New Jersey. So you understand there is a central New Jersey.
Yes.
And then the other half of the time growing up, I was in Maryland, about 45 minutes outside of Baltimore. And all the moving was for my dad's job. I didn't know it at the time, just how lucky I was that, he was very well employed and he had a good job. And we grew up well. It's just me. I'm an only child with my mom and dad. And even to this day, I'm still an only child, just me. And I am now married and I have a wonderful wife and two kids, a son who's 9 and a daughter who's 3. My wife went to the University of Massachusetts. Now, my wife, while she was in high school, she played the oboe and she took oboe lessons at Rutgers. I dated a girl who played the oboe and took oboe lessons at Rutgers and had the lesson right before my wife's lesson with the same instructor at Rutgers.
What?
And who also worked at the Starbucks in Edison because she was from Sayreville. And so she definitely served my wife coffee when everyone was in high school. And then we actually ended up breaking up, but she also ended up going to UMass, living in the same building as me, above my room, and she was roommates with my wife.
Get out of here.
No, that's how I met my wife. She was my ex-girlfriend's roommate, and my ex-girlfriend said the two of you should date.
No, she didn't.
Yes. And but
this is after you had broken up with the girlfriend she had mentioned.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh.
The funny part was the two of them were from towns next to each other in Jersey, had the same oboe instructor, but had never met until they were roommates in Massachusetts.
Now that is definitely like, what is it, 6 degrees of separation? We are so close.
Yeah.
We are so.
And there's really not much else about my, I'd say, structure. I get up, I go to work, and then after that, it's family time. For myself and my wife, that's very important for us, is making sure that we have that work-life balance. And it's a topic as well that I find very important for my team. I'm always talking to them about having that work-life balance and how important that is when you are trying to succeed in whatever you're doing. And I took a somewhat serpentine route to where I am. I actually originally studied, I thought I was going to study music, actually, when I first started applying to colleges. I ended up studying operations management and finance.
Wow,
and
that's
then I
very
ended up as a
different.
pastry chef. Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Nice. So what were you going to study as a musician? What was that going to be?
It was percussion. I play percussion.
Okay.
And I actually, most people say, oh, you're a drummer. And I can play drum set. I do still own a drum set. I always specialized more in orchestral percussion. And you can't really study it in college, but I really was quite adept at marching percussion. So I
Oh,
did
wow.
a lot of marching band and drum line, indoor drum line, when I was growing up. And I thought that I would carry that into school and then become a music educator.
Nice. Okay, nice. I am a music educator, so to hear that sound like, oh, very nice. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, well, but that didn't happen. We went to, like you said, you you became a pastry chef,
Correct.
which everybody loves pastries, so you are in a heaven of a job for us people who enjoy eating sweets. Most definitely. Can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about your life as a pastry chef?
It's another area where I've been very fortunate and I have been able to carve out a unique position for myself in that I don't work nights, I don't work weekends.
Nice.
I work for a family-owned company. The company's based in Belgium. We're actually in over 100 countries in the world, so we're a large company.
Wow.
We're a large company, though, that nobody's ever heard of. And we make ingredients, one of them being chocolate. So everybody loves that. Who doesn't like chocolate? And what's great is I am now a senior manager is my title in our research and development department. So I'm actually not in the kitchen every day anymore.
Oh, okay.
I still go in. I like to remind the team that I do know what I'm doing, that I am still around and I am still, watching. I'm very lucky though, because I lead a team of people who cover 6 states.
Wow.
And I'm responsible for all of our infrastructure in those states. So our test kitchens, our largest one's 40,000 square feet. And the kitchens and the teams that are in those spaces. So I have a very unique role. A lot of people, when you think of a pastry chef, you think of the person who's in the restaurant kitchen day in, day out.
Yes.
What's really great is once you get into the food industry, there's a lot of different paths you can take. And one of my main missions is actually helping kids find out what some of those paths are.
Nice.
As part of my full-time job, we're actually now working on a bakery school. So we're actually partnering with the local school district, which is in an underprivileged area of New Jersey. And we're creating a program to try to bring kids who might be dropping out of high school and actually teach them the baking and pastry trade, and then show them this multitude of paths that they can take, and they could eventually end up sitting in my seat. Maybe they'll literally take my job one day. That would be amazing for me.
That is an awesome. Or let me give you a little. Of that. Wow, that is impressive. So awesome. I mean, my goodness, that's going in there and just being able to give these kids the skills, some type of trade to be able to just live and make a living, a life. Wow, that's awesome. Well, you are super busy then.
Yes, I am. Between the full-time work and taking that on, we're looking to actually get that program up and running this year, September. So the 2022-2023 school year would kick that off, and we're very excited for it. It takes up now a good amount of my time, every day, just thinking about what we're going to do for these kids. It's very impactful, and it's very meaningful for myself and for the other folks, at work.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, congratulations. Congratulations, definitely. And to your team of amazing chefs that are doing. My gosh, you never think about the behind the scenes work that goes into, we just think about the food being made and putting it into our mouths.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
there's, right, but their process to get there and all the people that it takes to make things happen for it to get there that's where the real magic is happening. It's starting anyway. So nice.
It
Very, very
is.
nice.
Yes. Yes, most
Okay.
definitely. I would say very quickly, because this really ties into what I do on a day-to-day basis. And I think it's incredibly important for anybody in business or anyone who is looking to try to make positive change, which is what I'm always trying to do. I am a big, big believer in always trying to make what you're doing better than you did before. I always tell people it's okay to fail, it's okay to make mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
just don't make the same mistake twice. Make a mistake, learn from it, move on, make a new mistake.
Mm.
And the reason I bring that up is you're talking about where the food comes from. Everybody now talks about sustainability
Mm-hmm.
and needing to be more sustainable. And in our industry, as a professional chef working for a multinational company, it is on the tip of everybody's tongue. What can we do to be more sustainable and to shine a light on where our food comes from? It's becoming incredibly important to understand where food comes from, to celebrate the people who are making it, and to make sure that they are fairly compensated. Where I work, we have a big program about chocolate, cacao, and getting more money in the hands of the people that actually grow that product.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we're not doing this type of work, there's a chance that we could lose some of these crops, or we could lose them because people are going to move to other forms of work where these crops are being grown. Mm-hmm. And it's important for all of us to look and to try to make those small changes. Right now, a big project for me is going zero landfill, going carbon neutral, going water neutral. Eventually those changes are going to happen, and we're not going to have a choice if we want to stay as a sustainable food industry, in this or in any country.
Wow, that's excellent. Touched upon some great points there. Very, very nice. Let me ask you, who has been the most influential person in your life? And part of that, I want to know, how has their strength helped you to be a better person?
I'm going to give you two answers, if I may,
Sure.
on that one. And one will tie back to some of my interests. And I'll do that one second.
Okay.
The first answer, and I'll have to tell you, this was very difficult for me to think about. I struggle sometimes actually pinpointing who is inspiring or supporting me. I've always been someone who sees himself as very independent, and it really hasn't been pretty much until the pandemic hit that I started to realize I needed to rely on other people and to let other people support me, and that was okay. It was okay to ask other people for that.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of those biggest influences on me was a former manager who's still with my company. He went back home. He's Belgian, and he went back. He was able to get a promotion and head back to our headquarters. His name is Laurent, and it took me about 6 months to get his last name, which I will share. Venuvenhove. That was quite the mouthful when I first saw it written down, that this gentleman would be coming from Belgium to be my manager. I was like, I'm sorry, his name is It was just very difficult.
Right.
But this fellow, Laurent, is a wonderful person. And the reason that I offer him as an answer is, for me, that person needs to support you in ways that are going to help you grow. If that means at a moment they need to be direct or have absolute candor, they'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
If it means that they need to be empathetic or if they need to listen, they'll do it. And that's what he's always done for me. I know when I'm doing something that's probably not the best, he's just going to flat out tell me. He's not going to sugarcoat it. He knows what I can handle. He knows how to speak with me. And he knows, though, as well, when I do just need to listen, just need to talk to him. He's just going to listen. He's not going to try to solve my problems. He's just going to listen to them and then remind me at the end, those aren't really problems. They're just hurdles to overcome, which is a huge mindset that he helped me gain. It's not looking at problems. It's understanding everything is simply a challenge or a hurdle that you just need to overcome. You need to jump over.
Nice.
The second one, and I say this somewhat jokingly, Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
Okay.
It sounds silly. I grew up on Star Trek: The Next Generation. It came out when I was little. And the way that character was written, to have a devotion to the people that he served with him, that he was in command of, and the way that he would always make the right choice, even if it wasn't the easy choice. And, as a leader in my organization, as someone who is responsible for not too many people, roughly 20 people, not a huge number, comparatively speaking, enough though that it keeps me very busy. I have to make a lot of hard choices. And I will fall back and I'll look at, okay, you know what? I have the easier choice or I have the harder choice, but the right one is the harder choice. I need to be Captain Picard in this situation, and I need to make that harder choice because it is the right one that's going to help my people the most.
Nice. And it's a positive one, so you can't go bad on that.
No,
you can't go bad on that at all. Nice. Very good answer. So let me ask you, who helps bring you back to reality when maybe you have gone far away from it?
That would be probably my dearest friend. His name is Richard. And it was really the pandemic that even brought us closer. We were friends before that. We're now very dear friends, even though he moved. He used to live 5 minutes from me. Now he lives a 7-hour plane ride from me. And even with that, even with being time zones away, we still make time. What we actually did, as everybody I think has done over the last few years, to make sure that we need to keep in touch. We started a silly little Star Trek podcast together to make sure that we could always talk. And he has a very good way of reminding me when I'm being ridiculous of that fact that, hey, you're being ridiculous. And sometimes it's as simple as he just doesn't answer a question I ask, or he doesn't respond to something I say. He just laughs at me.
And you're like, okay, I'm being ridiculous.
okay. Okay. I get it. Okay. Thank you. And it helps bring me back. And I say, okay, great. Let's focus in here. Let's center ourselves, and I'm good now. Let's continue.
Oh, nice. We need that. We need that person who can do it, that can just either, like you say, not say anything or say a word or an action. And you're like, okay, all right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, definitely.
You're right about it. Nice. I want to change over a little bit to talk about some baking and cooking things.
Let's do it.
Can you tell us, what is the biggest baking mistake that people make?
The absolute biggest one. Fantastic question. The absolute biggest mistake home bakers make is they don't properly scale their ingredients.
Oh, okay. Talk about it.
Yeah, that's the biggest one. Everybody now should own a digital scale and take the time. If you have favorite recipes, that's great. Everybody should have favorite recipes. They're probably in cups and tablespoons and teaspoons. Take 20 minutes, convert it to a weight system, whether it's imperial, pounds and ounces, or metric, grams, and it will help you in the long run. the other part of that I always tell people is don't be afraid of professional level books. Professional level books, you have to remember, are mainly written for people who are just starting out and trying to become professionals.
Oh,
They
okay.
have great basic recipes. They have more advanced recipes. Start with the basics, just like you were in school, and work your way up. All those books, however, are written in pounds, ounces, or grams. So
Mm,
you're going to need a scale.
okay. Interesting that you say that about the books. I wouldn't touch them because I'd feel like, well, they're way too advanced, you know, that these must be
No,
for the people who are at the top, not for me.
no. And even then, I mean, I have books where there's parts of them which even are just outside of my specialties.
Hmm.
And there's wonderful recipes. And again, it's how, whether it's pastry, chocolate, bread baking, or whether it's woodworking, something that I'm horrible at,
Hmm.
any of those types of skills, you'll only get better by exposing yourself to folks who are better than you
Hmm. You're right.
and letting them inspire you, right? Always work on the basics and the fundamentals, especially in the kitchen. That's somewhat the second biggest mistake people make. They try to jump too far ahead.
Okay.
Learn the basics, learn the techniques. What I always tell folks who are new and just starting out, I say, don't focus so much on what the recipe is for, focus on what techniques you're learning.
Mm.
You should be able, when you get really good, to look at a list of ingredients and know by the proportions that they're in what the recipe is probably for and know all the techniques you need to make that recipe. So really the only part of the recipe you need is the list of ingredients and the weights of the ingredients.
Mm.
And studying from, professional level books can be a great way to get yourself to that level.
Wow. Okay. That's good advice. I enjoy cooking. I come from a family of cooks. My grandmother used to bake without a measuring cup. She would just pour milk into a bowl and she would just be talking the whole time. And I'm like, Grandma, how do you know how much? She was like, I've been making this before you were born.
Uh-huh.
And she
It
would
yeah.
whip those sweet potato pies up. I'd come home, there'd be apple pie and sweet potato pie while I'm at school. And everything's fresh from the yard, but she's never used, she didn't grow up in that time period. She had a sixth grade,
Mhm.
education and she had to work. And, her and my aunt, her sister, they would cook and make the most amazing things, but never used any type of measuring system. It was just visual. They would look at it by
Yeah.
the eye and how much they poured in and tasted and
Mhm.
continue on. So, wow. Mm. I long to be like that one day.
Yeah. Well, it's those grandmother superpowers,
It is. I never heard
you
it that
know?
way, but it's true.
Yeah.
They are. They are superpowers.
Yeah. Those grandmothers, they have some superpowers, let me tell you.
I love it. Do you do a lot of baking at home or a lot of regular cooking at home?
I do all of the cooking at home,
Oh, snap.
and
Okay.
yeah. I do all the cooking at home, and I do none of the baking. I've
Oh,
gotten to a point.
wow.
Yeah, I think a lot of people run into this. You get so accustomed and habituated to the professional equipment.
Hmm.
You get home and you go, "Oh, I could do this thing in 10 minutes if I was at the office. It's gonna take me an hour to do it here."
Welcome to our
And then I
world.
just yeah. And then so what I do is I just go in 20 minutes early to the office, bring my ingredients with me, and then I knock it out and then bring it home at the end of the day,
Already done.
already done. I bake at home with my kids so that they'll learn how. So we
Oh,
do a
that's
lot of
good.
cookies. Yeah, a lot of cookies because little kids love cookies.
Yeah, look, the big kids do too.
Oh yeah. You could just say people love cookies.
Yes, people love
Yeah.
cookies. I love them and I don't bake them very well. I don't know why. I want them to come out right, but they just don't. So I stick to what I can do. I can make a mean
Hmm.
brownie.
Okay.
But the cookie, which is for the best because I don't need to be
Oh.
eating them. I don't need,
Well,
you know.
I will. I'll throw out a few areas, a few critical control points for you to think about the next time you go to make cookies.
Okay, please share.
All right. Make sure that you are not greasing the parchment paper because they might spread too much.
Okay.
Make sure you are baking on parchment paper and not a silicone mat, again, because they might spread too much. And here I
Okay.
should preface this with I'm speaking of a standard American cookie.
Okay.
Chocolate chip, oatmeal raisin, peanut butter, a cookie made by the creaming method, meaning butter and sugar mixed together
Okay.
to start the cookie, right? Don't mix that butter and sugar together for too long, right?
Oh.
If it's too long, it starts to get too aerated. They might spread too much. Too little, and you don't have enough air in them, so they might not be soft and chewy enough.
Okay. Okay.
You can also, depending on what you're looking for, if they are too soft, take out a little bit of flour and replace it with bread flour of an equal amount. That'll firm them up and they'll become a little chewier. It could also be baking if they are coming out too dark in terms of the coloration or too crispy and you want them softer, just bake them less. So there's a couple of items in the food world that cook after you take them off the heat or out of the oven. Meat, red meat is a big one. Well, meat in general, we should say, and cookies are another big one. So they have carryover cooking. So you always want to take them out when they're a little underdone.
Okay. That's good tips. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
And I might have solved your problem. I might not have.
Look, it's worth a try. It's worth. Yeah. I'm going to give it a try. Definitely. Yeah. From tips from the professional, I'm down.
Well, now I'm curious. If you try it again, now you have to send me a mail so I know if it worked or not.
Okay. I can do that. I can do that for sure and let you know if they are as good. I usually bake things out and give them to the students that are coming for their lessons. So they share. They're like, "Oh, this was really great," or "Oh, this is good." And my niece has a baking business. And she's
nice.
16 years old. She started when she was probably like 11 or 10 or 11. And her best friends, who are twins, also have a baking business. So she's doing like amazing stuff. I come from a family who's doing, they're doing the real whips, the real creams, and, everything is from scratch. So I just enjoy eating it. I do better with real foods, making real items compared to the sweets. But I love to eat the sweets, most definitely. Most definitely. Can I ask you, what's a good baking idea that a family of maybe 3 or 4 could all participate in as a family unit?
I think we just hit on it. For me,
okay. Would it be just cookies?
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's cookies. I mean, like I said, we're 4 people.
Okay, there's 4 of you.
Yeah, it's myself, Jessica, my wife, and then my 2 kids, and we do a lot of rolled cookies because there's kind of a job for everybody.
What's a rolled cookie?
Yeah. Well, I say that a sugar type cookie.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Something that you need to roll out, you need to cut it and then bake it. Perhaps there's a pre-baked decoration. There's going to be a post-baked decoration. So that keeps the whole family busy.
Okay.
And coming up soon, we have Easter. So that's a great time for that type of cookie, and also Purim. So we celebrate both the Christian and the Jewish holidays in my house.
Oh, nice.
So we'll make hamantashen for Purim, and we might make some sugar cookies for Easter. Just at this point, depends on how much time we have, because we're very, very busy. In addition to my full-time job, my wife owns her own business, which I assist with, and so very, very busy times.
Well, I mean, it sounds like it's good busy, because you guys are working, working for yourselves in that sense and doing things with the family. And, do you have a social life outside of all of this?
A social life. I record podcasts with friends of mine.
Okay.
And no, as right now, we don't really, full transparency. No, both of us have always been somewhat of homebodies anyway.
Okay.
And the last few years, it's been actually nice to be able to say, "Oh, we're sorry, we're unable to attend." And, everybody's very accepting of it.
It's true, right? It's so true.
Yeah, a lot of my personal social life really is meeting people through the 2 podcasts that I do, getting invited on, talking with folks that way, and then just talking with friends. Trying to make time for the friends that I have, who are actually, they've all scattered. Most of my friends are in about 4 states that are not Pennsylvania, which is where I live. So it's
Okay.
just talking to them and having those kind of interactions, because you are correct. Yes. With having our own business and then, full-time job, it's very busy, and she's a chocolatier. So her business is a chocolate company. She makes and
Wow.
sells chocolate. So it keeps us very busy.
Well, I think that's social if you're talking with friends, even if it's virtually or, so to me, and even the podcasts are social outlets, as we are meeting as well internationally talking. And so, yeah, I think that granted,
Oh
with
yeah.
everything that you have, maybe you're not running out to feel like you're going to bowling and movies and dinner all the time, but, there are
No.
social outlets where you're still doing other things outside. So I would count that definitely
Oh
as
yes,
feeling
that, and
social.
yeah, and talking with other parents at karate, which both my kids now do. So
Oh,
that's about as
nice.
social as we get. Yeah.
Hey, that's good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Karate is good. Good. I studied as well, Pakwa, many years
Okay.
ago. It's good to help keep for the mind and for the physical
Mm-hmm.
body. Excellent.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. My 9-year-old just got his junior black belt. He did it for 3 years, and now he'll
Wow.
continue on, and he can now train with the adults
Okay.
and start working towards that, first degree black belt now. And my daughter just started because she is a very rambunctious 3-year-old, and we said she needs something, as you just said, for her mind. She
Mm-hmm.
needs something to teach discipline
Yes.
and to get her to understand the importance of listening.
I think
Because if
that
you've ever
might
dealt
just
with it,
come with
yeah,
time, but yeah, you're right.
well, yeah,
At
if you've ever
3.
dealt with a 3-year-old, listening, not their strongest skill.
No, no, not at all. It's something that is definitely in development at that age, for
Mm,
sure.
yes.
Nice. I want to ask, if you had to represent your life with one word, what would it be and why?
That is a very good question.
Why, thank you.
You're welcome. And I am not stalling at all
No,
to give
no.
an answer to this question. No. I was debating. This was tricky for me. When you asked it, I started thinking, and two words popped into my head immediately.
Oh, okay.
And I'm having a very difficult time debating between the two. So
Okay,
I'm
let's hear them
going to
both
give
then.
you. Okay, well, good. You've just made my life easier.
Yes.
The first two words that popped in my head were truth or truthful, and honesty. Not though honesty in the sense of being truthful, but in the sense of being honest to oneself.
Okay.
And if I had to pick one, it would be that. It would be that honesty to oneself. That, you could say, authenticity. Now that we've talked it through,
Hmm.
could be a good word,
Hmm.
because I've seen a lot in my experience. A lot of problems I've seen folks have, or some that I've had myself, are due to not really being authentic or honest to yourself. You just asked, if I have much of a social life. I don't really, by choice, and I enjoy it that way.
Mm-hmm.
There were times though where I would try to force myself to be a little more social, a little more outgoing. That's what people expected, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably how one should be.
Mm-hmm.
And it just wasn't for me. And you know what? That's okay.
It sure is.
You know, and if I had to, sum up everything, if I wanted people to take one thought or one word away, it would be that. Actually, I'm going to change my answer, if I may, please. I haven't
Sure.
locked in yet.
No, it's
I'm going
fine.
to go with.
It's free flowing here. You can. All of this time is yours, so no
Hmm.
problem.
Yeah, no, I would say, authentic or authenticity,
Hmm.
to make sure that I'm always trying to act in a way that is true to my goals and true to my morals, my ethics,
Hmm.
and what it is that I believe. And it's difficult. We won't always succeed in that.
True.
That journey, though, is what's important,
Hmm.
because there is really no final destination if you think about that. I mean, by the time you get to the final destination, it's a little less important to you at
Mm-hmm.
that point. It's more important to perhaps your children, perhaps a spouse, or other folks that
Mm-hmm.
may or may not, be behind. And it's that journey, making sure that you have that authentic journey. And it's something I try to coach my team on as well and I'll take it back to food. Make food that's authentic to you. Make food that's authentic to where you're from. Make food that speaks to you. And whether you're a chef, an artist, whatever it is that you do, make it something that only you can do, because everyone else has already been taken, right? It's I'll paraphrase. No, there's an Oscar Wilde quote. I believe Oscar Wilde. I can paraphrase. It's basically, be yourself because already everybody else has already been taken.
I like that.
And yeah, I learned that from a Pete the Cat book. So thank you, Pete the Cat.
Yes, Pete.
Yeah. I'm not reading Oscar Wilde, at least not at this point in my life. I'm reading Pete the Cat to my 3-year-old.
I love it. What a great lesson to be even reading to a 3-year-old. How awesome.
She can almost read. There's actually some books she can read by herself already.
Okay, parents. All right, 3-year-old. Yes. Nice.
Yeah.
Y'all are doing it over there.
It's her.
And she can bake cookies.
Smart.
Okay. She's about to be working at 10. She might have her own business at 10. I'm not messing with y'all over there, Braden. I'm not messing with y'all.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm very lucky that both my kids are very smart, but my daughter, she's scary smart.
I love it.
We're very lucky. We're very fortunate.
Oh, wow. What a blessing.
Yeah.
And ideally for you to say authenticity is like, it's huge. I mean, with that comes respect and trust and understanding and, all of these things that come with that when you're living in your truth. And that's where a lot of us are trying to get to or trying to be, but, are caught up in what other people are thinking, or I shouldn't say this because this isn't what's being said, or maybe I shouldn't reveal this. There's a lot of second guessing and thinking that's going on. So for your answer to be that as a word that represents your life, you can't get much better than that. You are living in your truth. You're who you are. This is take me as I am, Yeah, this is excellent. What an excellent answer. Really, really great.
Oh,
I mean, the
you.
truth was good, but once you had started to have it unfold, which I'm excited to go back to listen to this, because we heard you unfold it before our ears and come down with the diamond of authenticity. And that is excellent. Really, really great. Really, really great.
Well, yeah, it's actually, it's a dad superpower. You see, you have to just stop caring about what other people think about you. And once you have small children, you'll get there pretty quickly. And you can just be your authentic self with anybody, because at home, nobody cares. So you just say, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to act like this everywhere.
Right. Well, it's too much work to try to be someone else or to try to act like someone else. It's too much energy that you have to waste and remember what you did. I am the same. I am how I am today in front of you, in front of my parents and, family and friends. I don't know how to be something different. And so, but it's a tiring game. I've seen it played. And
no, me too. Yeah. I have a friend who was part of an organization that did not accept his orientation. And he would hide from members of his religious organization when we were walking around town. I'd be like, dude,
oh, wow.
You got to do something about this, man.
Yeah.
It's just, this is not healthy for you. This is, I would see it stress him. I'm like, you're an amazing person. You just, they need to accept that or we need to help you. Right. Exactly. That's what I said. It's like, you have friends, like, we'll help you.
Right.
It's like, you won't be losing anything if they don't accept you. Like, look, here's 50 people that accept you right here.
Right. Tell them, hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Yes. Hit the road. Out of here.
All right, give yourself some of that applause.
Okay, look.
There you go.
Thank you. Yeah, it's true. You can't, and it's a lot of work. But, when people come to that realization for themselves, when they hit that aha moment or that light comes on, you realize like, oh my gosh, this is wasted time. What have I been doing? I could be focusing all this on myself. or focusing on me. What do I need to
Exactly.
be working on? What can I do better?
Hmm.
Yeah, the other way it's a lost cause, definitely. But people have to come to that realization in their own
Hmm.
time,
Yeah.
definitely. Can I ask you, what do you want your legacy to be? Is it something that maybe you want to be known for your career in the baking world or in the pastry chef world, or does it fall along the lines of something else?
While professional accolades are wonderful, those are not what I seek out. I'm actually hyper competitive, so I actually have stopped competing,
Oh,
which
okay.
I think is really good advice for folks. If you're too competitive, sometimes you can actually be more successful by taking a step back. So, I mean, I've won a couple minor awards in that industry,
Hmm.
but it's not what I go for. It's not what I'm looking to do. If it's anything, it's family, right? For whatever, my children, that's really your legacy, really is just doing a good job. If you've decided to bring people into this world, well, you're responsible for them, and
Hmm.
you need to make sure that they're going to be good people. And it's not about telling them what to do. A little bit. I tell them to go to bed. I tell them to brush their teeth. I tell them to eat their vegetables. But it's not about really telling them what their truths are or who they are. It's about guiding them on their journey. And then that, for me, that's what the legacy is. That, you know, kids you educate to, if, our program is successful with our bakery school, hey, that's going to be great.
Hmm.
Having a lot of kids, who will get into the industry. At the end of the day, though, it's for me, kids, young people. That's the legacy, is helping them succeed, putting them first,
Yes.
and making sure that you're setting the planet and you're setting the institutions up for them,
Mm.
and not to point fingers or suggest that that wasn't done for any people by any previous groups of people. Uh, I think you probably have more questions now.
No, what a great answer about legacy. That your children will be your legacy and what it is that they represent or they will become, and representing of your family and of you as their father. So really great. Nice answer. Very nice answer. Do you have any advice that you would give someone who wanted to pursue the field that you're in, that wasn't given to you?
Yes, most definitely.
Yes, do
And
share.
let's see, do we have 47 more minutes? If no, I kid, I kid. It's actually a piece of advice I did actually state earlier, and that's, don't be afraid to fail.
Okay, nice.
Make a mistake, learn from it, get back up, keep trying. If you want to get into the area of the food industry that I'm in, which is research and development, and doing a lot of higher level managing and leading of people, what you should do is have a really diverse group of interests. You heard, I thought I was going to be a music educator. Then I thought I was going to be in operations management or finance. I also looked how to minor in art history. I have a very wide range of interests, and having a very wide range of interests is going to help you be successful. I see a lot of people who are just hyper focused, and that can be great.
Hmm.
I don't want to take that away from anybody. I'm fortunate enough to know a few people who have, I mean, won the literal award for best and insert pastry or baked good here in the world. Like, I'm lucky enough because of
Wow.
my job to know some of these people. We're acquaintances, talk every once in a while. We see each other at professional events, but they are hyper focused.
Mm.
The issue is, though, if what they specialize in falls out of favor, if it's not trendy, they can have struggles trying to keep themselves gainfully employed, support themselves.
Hmm.
And as much as I would love to say, we don't need to worry about employment or supporting ourselves. We do. I mean, we all
Right.
need some level of income.
It's true.
We all do. We aren't yet at the singularity where all of us will just be uploaded to the cloud and we don't need income. So have a wide range of interests and passions. It's interesting. There's actually studies have been done with athletes, and it's been seen that more elite athletes, generally speaking, participated in multiple sports when they were a youth versus just one sport. I'll give an example. Tom Glavine, a lot of people know as a baseball pitcher, retired, was also an amazing hockey player and is an amazing golfer.
Wow.
And he didn't just focus on one. And it's the same thing with the food industry, right? Find a wide range of interests within the industry, but also outside of the industry that are tangential to the industry. I mean, art and design. If you are going to work in food, having an understanding of art and design can be hugely impactful on what you do, as well as, and this is where I'll leave this piece, storytelling. If you can learn how to weave a good story, so don't listen to me when I talk, right? Listen to some better storytellers, but learn how to weave a story that connects people to the food that they're eating. And you now have someone who is going to keep coming back. And they're going to come back because the food is good. It has to be good, but they're going to come back for the story. People come back for the story. Why do we reread books? Why do we rewatch movies? Why do we rewatch TV shows? Why do we listen to the same albums, the same songs? It's for the stories. Focus on being able to tell your story, present yourself well, and you will go very, very far in whichever industry you decide to get into.
Nice. That was a good answer. That was a good answer on the industry and outside of the industry. Nice.
Yeah, it's a good answer because I just said a bunch of words about everything. Here's 5 pieces of advice instead of 1.
Hey, it all flows in. It all flows together. Nice.
Yes.
Do you have any final thoughts for our listeners?
Yes, indeed. What I would say is when you opened up and you briefly said a few words about me, I would challenge everybody. I challenge myself every day to try to actually take time and try the best you can to truly understand the folks sitting across from you, perhaps at work or at the dinner table in your family. It's a Star Trek idea, I.D.I.C, infinite diversity and infinite combinations, meaning for the most part that all should be welcomed for who they are, that we are all stronger when we use our diversity and where we play with each other's strengths and we celebrate those differences because those differences make us stronger. Sometimes, though, that's hard and it can be difficult. And I try to challenge myself every day to not shut down other people because I learn one fact about them that might be different from me. And it's hard nowadays. We've become so polarized in many aspects of our society. Take the time, though. If we all take the time to try to truly understand what the other people around us are going through, and we can learn to have empathy, and we can find those common grounds. And oftentimes, where's a great place to do that? Over dinner or over a pastry. Take that time. Find the common ground. And at the end of the day, it will bring all of us closer, and we will all learn to be better together than apart.
All right. You sure you're not a storyteller yourself? Or?
No, I'm just...
I'm like, you sure the baking is all that we do? You just gave a nice little... That was nice, yeah. Really, really great to leave us off with.
just someone who, likes Star Trek, likes getting to know people, and would like to see everyone take a little more time, get to know each other, understand each other, and we're not all that different.
It's so true. It is so
Mm-hmm.
true. And Star Trek, they had everybody under the sun on there.
Mm-hmm.
All kinds of alien people and
Mm-hmm.
this type of person, all mixed together, working together. It was a mixed bag, making it all flow. So I like the idea of the representation of that, working with all styles and all kinds of people. Everybody has something important to bring to the table. So thank you for that. Can you tell us
Yes, indeed they do.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just to say yes, they do. Everybody does, and it's been a hard lesson to learn.
Hmm.
It's one though that has helped me immensely, is to really understand consensus building
Mm-hmm.
and the importance of buy-in when it comes to all forms of leadership, whether it's within your family unit or whether it's within your team at work.
Mm-hmm. You're right. Buy in. I like that. Can you tell everyone how they can reach you?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much.
Sure.
I alluded to it a little bit. I actually have 2 podcasts where folks can find me.
Mm-hmm.
You can find each one on every major podcast platform. The first one is called Epicurean Unicorn, and that's what I do for work. We interview folks in the food industry. To give you an idea, we've had Jacques Torres on, we've had Chris Harvey on.
Mm-hmm.
Those are both pretty well-known chocolatiers, in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk to people to give you a little bit of inside information on the food industry, what's going on, what's trendy. We talk to authors, and then sometimes we have a little sidebar where we talk with folks who just love food. So since I love Star Trek, it's my goal to talk to any Star Trek podcaster about food. So you might find a few of those thrown in there too. You can also hear me being a little silly with my very good friend Richard, and we talk about Star Trek on our podcast, which is called Time Trekking, and that's with 2 Ks. So Time Trekking, again, on all major podcast platforms. We're watching Star Trek from beginning to end. We just started with Star Trek Enterprise.
Oh, wow.
And we're just
Enterprise. Oh, my gosh.
Yep, we're just going to go through Enterprise, then Discovery, by then
Discovery.
Strange New Worlds. Yeah, there'll be Strange New Worlds, and then the original series, the animated series, TNG, DS9, Voyager, Picard.
Wow.
It's all in there. Eventually, we'll get to all of it eventually when we're old. And it's a lot of fun. It's silly. It's 2 people who are very dear friends, just having a good time.
I love that.
And just laughing. And if anybody wants baking advice, I naively believe the internet can still be a positive place. I guess I'm the one person left that thinks that. You can feel free to reach out. I don't use social media much. I did start a Twitter, though, for the express intent of having people just be able to find me. And you can search for me. It's at Baker Braybray, which is BRAY 47. I have a very dear friend who's Swedish, and she decided that my name was not Braden, it was Braybray. And I just decided to own that. And, it's a little nod to her that I did that. So, yeah, I mean, I'm fine with people sending me messages, DMs at me. It doesn't matter. I'm a very friendly fellow at Baker Braybray 47. You can just ask me any question. If I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does know the answer. And I'm really just happy to help people who want to get better in what they do, or people who are just starting out in the industry and are looking just to talk to someone in the industry.
That's so nice.
I'll make time for you. Yeah, I'll talk to you. Just very happy to help. And again, it's all about making a positive impact. Every action we take should make a positive impact, either for ourselves or for someone else.
Nice. Excellent. And you also have an Instagram account.
I do. I don't mention it because I barely use it. And no, it's just, again,
well, we don't have to,
you
don't have to list it if you don't want to.
Oh, it's no worries at all.
Okay.
I really, what I have to do is remember what it is. and it's actually pastry _chef _Bray. And I don't post too many pictures. I'm not a very visual person.
Okay.
So I'm not one of those chefs that runs around taking pictures of everything they make. I also sit behind a desk for most of my day now. I do, though, occasionally. I think I have some pictures up there of a chocolate Starship Enterprise I made.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
I'm working on a Romulan bird of prey from the original series in chocolate.
Wow.
It's a long-term project because I don't have a lot of time for it. It needs to be painted and then assembled, and then that'll be done. So,
Oh my
but I will
gosh.
put pictures. I will put
Yes,
pictures
please
up there
put some
on.
pictures of that up there when you finish it. Please.
Yeah.
Please.
No, I will. Yeah, as it gets worked on. So about 6 months.
Okay. Hey, it's up
Yeah.
there whenever. You're doing a lot. You're doing a
Yeah.
lot, definitely.
Yeah.
So whenever it happens, it happens. But that sounds really awesome just to hear how it sounds like, wow. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. And before we go, I have one final question that I like to close with all of my guests is asking, is your glass half empty or half full?
Half full.
Okay. Any explanation with that or just half full?
For better or for worse, I'm an eternal optimist.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. And either way, though, this is the greatest part. You can put more in it.
It's true. So true.
Half full, half empty. Doesn't matter because I can still put more in there. I can learn more. I can get better. And if it's a glass of wine, I can have another pour.
Yeah, right. Right? What'd you say? Long as it's not full to the brim, we can get some more in there or we can pour some out. That's hilarious. I love it.
Exactly.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Braden, for being a guest here on Glass Half Full. We are so glad that you could be with us today.
Thank you very much, Chris. It's really been a pleasure. It's been very nice to get to know you, and this was a wonderful process. Thank you very much.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you as well. We'll see you soon.
Sounds good. Take care.
Take care. Thank you. And thank you to all our listeners listening in to another episode of Glass Half Full, a podcast and a safe platform for everyone to share their life experiences. Once again, I'm your host, Chris Levens. Please subscribe, follow, and rate this podcast on Apple Music and Spotify for more learning experiences. Until next time, know you are blessed. See ya!